The Melbourne Instruments Nina is a 12-voice, 4-part multi-timbral analog synth, but with a digital wavetable oscillator thrown in for good measure. But what's really got people talking are these incredible motorized knobs, which in this context right now, where I'm sequencing each of these parts individually, is incredibly handy for live performance. G'day everyone, Mike here with Store DJ again, and a bit of a special video for us today, not just because it's a really exciting product, but because we are filming this in Melbourne right now, and these guys are so local to us, we were able to jump in the car for 5 minutes and go see where the magic happens. Australia has not traditionally been a hub of synthesizer design. There's a few small Eurorack companies doing cool things in the modular world, and of course we had the pioneering Fairlight sampler, but that was many years ago now. So to be able to visit this small team doing big things out of a humble workshop up the road was an incredibly rare opportunity for us, and personally, super inspiring. They're a group of lovely people and super committed to making Nina something special, hand assembling and testing each unit on site, using parts both locally sourced and from around the world. Now, while Melbourne Instruments is a new company, between them they actually have an extensive history in technology, design and business, so they know what they're doing and they aren't going anywhere. Alright, let's take a closer look at this bad boy. So, I'm not going to do an exhaustive rundown, but we'll go over the basics real quick. We've got 1, 2, 3 oscillators, 2 of them are analog, third one is a digital wavetable, and yes, you can upload your own wavetables onto this. It takes the Serum format, so there's tons of wavetables out there for you to find and download and put on this thing. From there through the mixer, where it's joined by a noise generator, you can actually change this to an external input as well, and you've got a couple of choices of sort of noise flavors as well. From there through a 4-pole analog low-pass filter, so kind of a Moog style filter, but it sounds a bit different to a Moog filter to my ears, so I'll play some sounds. Hang on, let me just latch that on. I don't know, it sounds a bit sharper than a Moog or something, I'm not really sure. I'd have to do a side by side and see how they compare. So you've got a couple of drives here to choose from. Overdrive is a lot gnarlier than this more subtle drive. You get the idea. So then you've got 2 envelopes, 2 LFOs, you've got all your different shapes to choose from in the LFO shape settings, and then you've got a single effects bank, so you can choose between chorus, delay, or reverb. And then you've got a 101 style sequencer down here as well, so very simple, you just hit record. Then hit run. But let's move on and highlight a few quirks that you don't find on other gear, which is mostly what I want to focus on in this video. So check this out. You press the mod key and it takes you to the mod mode and all the knobs snap to attention. So you've got your modulation sources all along the bottom here, and then all you have to do is hit one, say the LFO, and then choose what you want to route it to. So let's go filter, and let's grab the other LFO and take it to the filter as well. Another implementation of this motorized technology that's super impressive is at work on the tuning knobs. So by default, they sweep through like a fifth. But then you press the coarse button and now these knobs are notched. And they require like a much firmer twist as well. I know I'm getting excited about a tuning knob here, but it's a pretty wild demonstration of what this tech is capable of. They can change the behavior of any of these knobs with a few lines of code in the firmware. They can be easy to twist, smooth to twist, they can be notched, they can be hard to twist. It's pretty amazing. Another really cool feature on the Nina is the morph function. So each of these 4 layers can be running 2 presets at once, and you access them by hitting the A and B button here. So I've lined up this really beautiful pad sound that I love. And if I adjust the morph knob, yeah, really great addition to this thing. Really awesome for finding sweet spots between 2 presets as well. You could also utilize it as kind of a macro in live performances. If you've got a part of a song that you want to sound like X and you want the next bit to sound like Y, then you can easily get there with the twist of a knob. Checking out the back of Nina, you can see there's 4 inputs and 4 outputs, which is great on a multi-timbral synth. You can freely assign each layer to whatever output you like. Good to keep in mind that the effects bank is hardwired to only come out of outputs 1 and 2 at this point. So if you want one layer to have a delay, the others not, you can route them accordingly. But what's great about the inputs is that you can route them to, if you've got another synth that you want to take through the filter or something, or even vocals or anything like that. As you can see, there's an XLR input there, but you just need to go to type, change it to aux in, and that will route your external signals through the mixer, through the filter, through the effects if you like. But what's also really great about these inputs is that they are CV as well. So if you go to the mod mode, you'll see down here in the modulation sources, the CVA, CVB, and also EXP, which would be an expression pedal. So I'm going to have some fun with this little Eurorack system I've brought in as well and see if I can do some interesting patching. So for this first one, I've just got a looping sort of step sequence modulating the filter. But then I can also bring in some noise modulating the filter as well for like kind of a crusty lo-fi effect. I really love using noise to modulate either the filter or the tuning. You get this like wonderful lo-fi effect. So this is a huge sound. This is a unison wavetable bass patch, but then I've utilized the stepped sequence from the previous patch over here to modulate the speed of an LFO, which is then being sent to the cutoff filter and also the wavetable position. All right, now for something a bit wild. I've just grabbed a VCO and used it to modulate. What have I used it to modulate? Oh, panning, drive, some tuning, all sorts of things. And it makes a great big ugly sci-fi noise. I had a lot of fun making this one. All right, for this last one, I wanted to make the biggest, crustiest bass sound I possibly could. So what I've done is loaded up a bass patch, duplicated it to another layer, sent the second layer out of the third output and into this tube saturator in my rack here, through a low pass filter, which is being modulated by an LFO and some noise. and then taken it back into the external input on the first layer. Hopefully that all made sense, but even if it doesn't, hopefully the sound speaks for itself. That was also a lot of fun to make. All right, moving on. I've got a couple more things that I need to gush about with this synth. The first one is how good 12 voice unison sounds on this thing. You've got 36 oscillators at work in a 12 voice unison. Let's hear it. God, that's nice. You have to love that. Let's hear a unison saw wave as well. Whew. Absolutely massive. The raw power is on show here. Now, if you're anything like me and you love just playing around with synths and making amazing sounds, then maybe the first thing that occurs to you as well when encountering a multi-timbral synth is, I should stack every single layer and make the most epic sound I possibly can. So that's what I've done with this next sound. I basically sat down for a while and tried to make the most epic cinematic thing, all 4 layers at work. Here's how it sounds. All right, I hope that's given you a nice little teaser of what the Nina is capable of. I realized that I haven't really done like the traditional sounds today, like the big poly sounds of the 80s and all that. Rest assured, they are in here, but it's just not really my thing. I like pushing synths in a bigger, heavier, more modern direction, and this is a great tool for the task. Now, before we wrap up, I do want to address the sort of build quality and engineering of this thing. So the 32 motors that are underneath this panel are actually designed for use in drones. So they're brushless optical designs, and from what they tell us, completely over-engineered for what they've been tasked with here. If you think about what a drone does, like this is child's play for it. And they're actually rated for 500 times more turns than the average potentiometer used on a synth. So the team is super confident in the technology to withstand many, many years here. And I can tell you, using this thing, I don't think I've used anything as nice as this before. Motors aside, this thing is built like an absolute tank. It's been a joy to use. It's nice and big. Everything feels mega sturdy. In fact, it's quite heavy. It's like 5.5 kilos, which I guess is 32 electrical motors worth of stuff. plus this hulking metal enclosure. It's a very, very sturdy unit, really built to last. So that's a wrap on today's video, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Amazing instrument for live performers, studio musicians, whether you're sequencing or playing keys, there's plenty of potential in this thing. And the motorized knobs totally won me over. I didn't know it was a thing that I wanted, but now it's going to be tough to give this back. And I'm feeling weirdly patriotic and proud that an Australian company has pushed analog synths into the future like this. These are available to order at Store DJ now, and thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you next time.